Well, what's going on, y'all? So, you know I had to bring you guys the Friday Night Smackdown review. It's going to be a lot of reviews coming at you because I got this, Stargirl, She-Hulk, Chucky, because they already premiered the first episode. Ooh, excuse me, of season 2 of Chucky. And then some more reactions too. You know, I gotta be at. See Super Mario. They released the Super Mario movie trailer, so you know I'm about to do some reactions to that. But that's all in different videos. You're here for wrestling review time. So, with that being said, they kicked off Friday night SmackDown with Triple H. I think that was the first time since his takeover and since his cardiac arrest event that he's been on TV. I think, obviously he was at the press conference with him and between Logan Paul and Roman Reigns, but I think this is the first time he actually appeared on live on either Monday or Friday. So he opened up the show talking about how which is being billed as the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown, and he just basically talked about how when you think things are finished, they're just the beginning. And he just welcomed everybody with a fancy QR code, I might add, welcome everybody to Friday Night SmackDown. And then Roman Reigns' music hit. Thus, we transition from that to the Bloodline promo, where they came out and Logan Paul came out right before. They didn't even get to talking yet. No, you know what he did? Roman Reigns did say acknowledge me. And then Logan Paul's music hit, and then Logan Paul came out, and Roman Reigns just basically talked smack, telling him that he want him out here, and he don't gotta worry because he knows a lot of them in the ring, but he's safe. This is his show, and he's safe. He could get in the ring, and he made Paul Heyman basically school him, to which Paul Heyman basically broke down why Logan Paul made sense. He made some jazz, but comparing him to certain, I think to like Mr. T and other celebrities who try to become, who go from what they are to into the pro business, or like Logan Paul boxing and wrestling and all that type of stuff. So but Logan Paul clapped back by saying that. I think Paul Heyman said something to him about being smashed at Crown Jewel, and he said, "Who's going to smash me? The Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, or the Tribal Chief Jey Uso?" And Jey Uso, barking and just going at it with Logan Paul made Roman Reigns not uncomfortable but irritated, and he looked at he got in the face of Jay, and Jay like a dog who, when he knows his master angry, when he will look him in the eye, he'll just look down or try to look past him away. I love that little storytelling right there, but it took me a minute to understand why Roman was mad, and I guess apparently the whole jab was a reference to the fact that the reason why he called Jey Uso the Tribal Chief was because I guess they say if it wasn't for Jey Uso, Roman wouldn't be the champion right now. So he's saying Jey Uso is the real Tribal Chief. And just continue in the backstage segment where they talked about him and Sammy was about to get into it again, but they stopped because of Roman Reigns, and he was like, because Sammy called him a hothead, but Roman, he agreed with Sammy, saying that Jay is a hothead, and he said, we've been dealing with this our whole life, and that he's tired of dealing with it, so he made Sammy's problem. So I guess he made it where Jey Uso has to answer to Sammy as a punishment to Jay for being a hothead. But with all that being said, that was in a later on promo too. There's another one I will get to later, but after the Bloodline promo ended, we got to our first match, which is Solo Sikoa versus Ricochet, which was a good match. It says this is the go home show for today's Extreme Rules. It wasn't a bad way to start the show. Wasn't the best way, but it was still good, and we got to see Solo Sikoa get another win under his belt. Obviously, when I say it was Ricochet, you should already know that Ricochet was winning, but it would have been a nice little twist. But in the end, Solo won by hitting I think they call it a flying solo, which is just like a spinning solo or whatever it's called, which is basically just like a spinning rock bottom. We did get an actual debut today and a return, and all in one segment. I'm gonna get to in a minute. But it started with Hit Row in the backstage getting ready to come out, and apparently Hit Row was supposed to have a match, and it went for being, it was about to be the second match of the night, but then it turned out to be a promo for the return of Zelina Vega, but Zelina Vega didn't return alone. Zelina Vega, the return started with two masked men, and followed by a third one attacked Hit Row, and Zelina Vega attacked B-Fab. And then the masked man revealed himself to be the Gato del Fantasma, who made their main roster debut. But it wasn't a shocking one, because rumors leading up to Friday Night Smackdown suggested that they was going to debut on Smackdown, and thus they did. Which it seemed like they rekindling their feud from NXT with Hit Row. I was shocked to see that they partnered them up with Zelina Vega, though, because as you know, the guy with Del Fantasma had like I might use the word Phantasma for my header in my thumbnail, but they had a woman with them. I forgot what her name was, but I was expecting her to be with Delgado. I mean, that was a nice little twist to have her. I would say they replaced her with Zelina Vega. But then we got to the real second match of the night, which was Sonya Deville and Xia Li. Always glad to see I can't talk. Always glad to see them use Xia Li. Though I wish she would get a lot more push, just like Chauncey. I wouldn't mind them being used just a little bit better, but I'm always glad to see Chauncey and Xia Li, as this was a tag team match of Sonya Deville and Xia Li versus Chauncey Blackheart and Raquel Rodriguez. We also got to introduce, I forgot to say this earlier, but we also got introduced to the new announcer team for SmackDown, which is Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. And this was a good match. This was a good match. A nice little follow up to the second match tonight. Where everybody not being stuck, in Florida. This returned to being basically an all SmackDown roster show too, I might add. But this was a good match. I would have liked Chauncey to get a little bit more offense in, because it just felt like they pretty much Raquel won it by herself, and Chauncey was just there to give her breathers. But she did get offense in, but not enough, to be like, did she really help? But anyway, Chauncey and Raquel, thanks to Raquel, will get the victory. Karrion Kross came out for a promo, and it pretty much was like, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, now I remember. He didn't do anything. He came out. I guess he was going to cut a promo, but before his music had even stopped, after he did his whole promo thing, when they go bam, 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 he stopped doing that, and Scarlett went to the side. Also, he was like, wait a minute, I feel like a big presence is behind me. Because after Scarlett went through his legs and went to the side, Drew McIntyre came into the ring from the same direction and stood behind him, and they got into a brawl. But thanks to some distraction, he was able to, and not even from the Scarlett, it was just from the security trying to stop him from beating up on Karrion Kross. That would allow Karrion Kross to turn the tables and beat up Drew McIntyre, leaving him battered. Which means Drew McIntyre might be winning at Extreme Rules, but he doesn't really need it, and Karrion Kross really needs to win. So I'm expecting them to give Karrion Kross. But opposite momentum says that because of the way how Friday Night SmackDown ended, it's going to be Drew McIntyre. But Karrion Kross needed more. We'll see. The Viking Raiders cut a promo, basically talking about the return of Valhalla. Okay, cool. I mentioned this earlier that there was another promo with Sammy, and that was backstage. With Jimmy trying to tell Sammy, they got to get it together. They can't be behaving like that in front of arguing, behaving like that in front of the tribal chief. And then they ran into the New Day. And the New Day was making fun of them and aggravated them, to which Sammy kind of probably overstepped and basically put himself and the Usos in a tag team match against New Day, telling them to go find them a partner. Thus, we get to this match I'm about to talk about, which is the third match in the co-main event, which was Sami Zayn and the Usos versus the New Day and their partner of choosing, Braun Strowman. This was a good match, and it built more tension between Sami Zayn and Jay as they got into an argument yet again in the match. But it was Braun Strowman's heavy lifting and brutality that won them the match, which means the New Day and Braun Strowman are your winners. They did a promo package with hyping up Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey, and they played another White Rabbit promo saying that something's going to happen on Extreme Rules. Which, once I get done with this, I'm going to go watch because I'm very curious about if that's Bray Wyatt or not. Main event time, right? Sheamus versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, and this was a banger of a match. This match was good. It was just as good as the one they had in Cardiff. I have nothing bad to say about it. I enjoyed it. This was worthy of a main event, and it was worthy to close the show for the go home episode of Smackdown. The ending was weird. I don't think I think if you all watch wrestling like I do, you watch SmackDown, that ending was weird because he put him in the Celtic Cross, it's a modified sharpshooter, and Sheamus had him, and you can see he was trying to get towards the ropes, and he tapped. He tapped. He said. He did like that. He tapped. But the referee said no, he didn't. She waved it off like he didn't tap. I'm like, we clear. The crowd just went crazy because they thought Sheamus won the title, but he tapped. It was the most weird, controversial way to end the show. But yeah, Sheamus would end up the rest of Gunther's crewings. Ludwig and Giovanni would come out. They would get into it with the Brawling Brutes of Ridge Holland and Butch. And the distraction because of this allowed Gunther to hit Sheamus with a clothesline with the lady, and he pinned a 1-2-3 to end the show as the victor. In all, this show would get a 7. You know what? I'm gonna give, just because the main event was good, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it 1 courtesy point. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 big ups because this was a good way. This was a little bit. The reason why I'm giving it an 8 because this was better than Raw's Go Home show. This had a little bit more action, a little bit better, a little bit more better storytelling, and better match, main event. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had nothing to say, nothing bad about it. I think pretty much everything was okay. It was nothing really bad on the show. It was just, I wish it was a little bit more, having 4 matches, you need at least 2 of them to be a good. But anyway, you let me know in the comments below what you thought, and if you enjoyed this review, you hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my WWE reviews. And if you enjoyed the video so much, you want to support the channel, you know what to do, guys. Hit those buttons. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content, but don't go anywhere because I got more reviews and reactions and gameplay coming your way. Peace. Love you.